Well, my next guest also has some great food for thought when it comes to the four-legged friend in our lives. Tacoma's Alexis Devine is the human behind the Instagram account What About Bunny, which has 1.4 million followers. Yes, very exciting. She's also the author of I Am Bunny, How a Talking Dog Taught Me Everything I Need to Know About Being a Human Being. And get this, the book hits shelves tomorrow. But Alexis and Bunny are on the couch with me now. Welcome to New Day. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having us.
On the eve of the book coming out.
Yes.
This is
very exciting.
And literally, we do have Bunny on the couch right now. We are so thrilled to have your sweet, such a good girl here.
She's being so good.
She's amazing. So tell us about Bunny and why she's so special.
Well, I think what most people would consider special about her is that she has a board that consists of 100 programmable buttons. Each button has a different word on it, and she uses the words to communicate with me. So she can say, Bunny, want, go outside, or Mom, come play, or paw out. She can tell me when she's in pain, and I can help address that for her.
Wow. And so how did you develop all of this?
Well, it wasn't a system that was developed by me. So AAC, or Augmentative and Alternative Communication, has been in use since the 70s for nonverbal children. And I had seen a speech-language pathologist on Instagram before bringing Bunny home that was using them with her own dog.
Okay.
But there have been studies conducted in the early aughts as well with a dog and Alexander Rossi. And it had shown to be useful to work. So I decided before bringing her home that I was going to try this, but I had no business teaching my dog to talk because I'm not a speech-language pathologist or a dog trainer at all.
Right.
So I put a button by the front door with outside on it, and I would say outside every time we went outside, and then we'd have a little outside party, and within a couple of weeks she pressed it herself to tell me she wanted to go outside. And then I thought to myself, if she can do 1, why not 10? Why not 100? And so we've just been growing the board ever since then.
And it just goes from there. And also, Bunny participated in research, right? Called They Can Talk. What is that about?
Yeah, the study is ongoing. There are several thousand active participants and many, many more than that that are enrolled in the study. It's through the Comparative Cognition Lab at UCSD, headed by Federico Rossano.
So I think it's interesting that you said, I'm not a speech pathologist by trade. I don't know. But even as a parent, it's our job to teach our children to talk. So it's intuitive, I think. So what did you learn about the relationship between you and Bunny by providing her this ability to communicate with you in the human way?
Well, I think the relationship started to build on itself once I realized that she was really engaged with me in this way. I felt this onus to start learning everything I could about canine behavior as well.
Right.
So I took a deep dive into canine behavior, into dog training, and I learned fairly early on that Bunny is very sensitive and very anxious. Hi, honey. Although she wouldn't seem it right now.
No, she's being very
very sweet. So the more I started to learn about her intrinsic communications, the more she wanted to communicate with me, and the more I was able to pick words that would be really salient to her experience.
So by learning more about what a canine's attributes are, that's how you then continue to develop the language. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
Like the more I was able to understand how she was communicating already, the more easily I was able to understand what sort of things she would want to communicate about. Like I started really paying attention to her nonverbal signals, like, oh, she's very interested in birds. She's like barking at this bird. She's like wagging her tail at this bird, so I add a bird button. And there are some birds that make her...
She's like, bird,
where are you going, honey?
There's no birds, I swear.
Oh, it's like, that's a pumpkin.
That's a pumpkin. I have to ask because, you know, I don't know a lot about canine training. I know not to look in their eyes, like not to stare them down. It bothers my cat when I do that too. So what are your thoughts on approaches to canine training?
Well, I use a positive reinforcement-based methodology always from the beginning. I feel like the path to the closest relationship with your canine uses kindness and empathy, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's been about really trying to understand what she's feeling because she's got some really big feelings sometimes. Like she'll bark and she'll react if she's approached the wrong way. If a stranger dog approaches her, she gets really fearful. So, oh, sweetie. So understanding what she's feeling underneath that and trying to address those emotions and change those emotions from a negative valence to a positive valence has really been highly impactful for our relationship.
I know that every pet owner kind of understands their own animal's language if they're paying attention over time. I mean, my cat doesn't make it a secret that it's hungry when it walks across my face at 4 a.m. But can anyone do this with their dog? Could anyone start to develop a language? Is this something that, you know, even if you had a dog for a while, it could work?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing canines and felines of all ages and stages of life having great success with buttons now. I think it's really about the desire to connect and an ability to listen actively to what your animal companions are saying.
Yeah.
Because once you can understand them on that level, you can start to give them the words that they would want to use in conversation with you, you know?
I think having that deeper connection has got to be good for the soul and the heart. And I know we're still dealing with so much trauma and pain from what we experienced the last several years. How do you think that pets and mental health intersect, especially when you have this deep connection?
She has taught me so much about my own mental health.
Really?
And yeah, she has helped me overcome dozens of struggles that I've had personally. One of the most important things that I've learned from her is how to advocate for myself and for her, how to say no, which I think is a thing that especially women, you know, really struggle with. But she is able to say in no uncertain terms, I'm not interested in this, you know, interaction, or I don't want to go this direction, or I don't want to, you know, sit next to my brother Otter. So watching her do that and being able to advocate for her in situations where other people wouldn't necessarily understand her has bled over into my personal life, where now I am much better at advocating for myself and saying no and being really clear and definitive about my choices.
I love that. No is a complete sentence. Thank you, Bunny.
Yes.
Thank you, Bunny.
What a good girl.
Where can people get the book?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's on Amazon. It's at your local bookstore. Yeah, anywhere where you like to purchase books.
Go get I Am Bunny. Support this wonderful thing that you have created here. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Bunny.
Thanks so much for having us.
Of course.